consistent he is, and they're off already. But Kerbis did recently get a PB of 321, which isn't that far off Neo's 318, I believe. 318 or 317. Yeah, the runners right now aren't like that far behind each other, in terms of skill, I guess. At the moment, I would say Neo is the better runner because he's a lot more experienced in like the whole routing aspect of Darker Side. And they both have been running like the same amount. Before this tournament, Neo did mainly ILs of Darker Side and just kind of developed stuff for the route. But ever since this tournament, he's been doing a lot more runs, and he's gotten a really good PB as of doing those runs. But Kerbis has been a very prominent Darker Side runner for a very long time. So he's definitely got more run experience under his belt, I think. Yeah, Cap Kingdom, pretty simple start. Not really different from any percent, except for one checkpoint that they will be getting at the start of Cap, or rather at the end of Cap. And that checkpoint's not going to be used until way, way later, like near the very end. Pretty good frog room from both. Neo actually going for left side. Pretty hard trick after getting that checkpoint because the camera can be kind of messed up. But both runners actually in sync in the topper fight. Kerbis getting a bit of bad RNG on his topper fight. That hat can just fly in a certain direction to where it gets hit, and then you have to bounce on topper 3 times instead of twice. Kerbis actually a little bit ahead after Cap, despite that mistake. Now they will be going in the Cascade. I believe they are not doing first moon skip. I know Kerbis isn't because he's on 1.2, but I'm not sure if Neo is. Because Neo is on 1.0. But even though Neo is on 1.0, they will be doing the no frog skip, which is a trick that saves around 2.5 to 3 minutes, depending on how good your Darker Side dungeon is. And it basically just skips the entire thing, and that's really boring, so we're not doing that for this tournament. It looks like Neo is going for FMS. This trick does not save as much in this category as it does in any percent. Neo actually messing it up. Gets it second try though, it's a very quick backup. The way you saw him do it there, that's actually the newest method of FMS that was discovered like a few months back. And instead of hopping on a rock, which is much harder and inconsistent for races, we just go into the water there, and it's much, much safer for races. Despite messing it up, Neo is actually still saving time over Kerbis here. Now, I believe Kerbis is on digital 1.2, so he will have the advantage in loads, but Neo's pyramid and snow clips will be a lot easier than Kerbis. Good fight from Neo. Let's see how Kerbis does on this fight. Up until stand, the first 2 kingdoms are really just the same as any percent, so there's not really much to say about them. Good fight from both. Well, the different versions don't really matter that much in this category. Well, they do because of frog skip and all that, but when they're not doing frog skip, they really don't matter. Because 1.0, while you can do FMS, that just cancels out with the Goomba Stack Moon and Bowser's, which is essentially the same length as the first moon. And Digital 1.2 does also... oh, God. Does cancel out all the time saves 1.0 has with the digital loads, which are much faster. Neo going for chest clip, misses it. Wait. Oh, Neo messing up. Yeah, what you saw him try to do there, that's only something you would do if you got first moon skip. Kerbis, since he did get the first moon, he's just going to head straight to sand right away without having to do that chest, and he's going to come back to Cascade in the second visit to get that chest, while Neo won't have to. Yeah, right after these two any percent kingdoms, you're going to see a pretty different route from the any percent one, immediately starting in sand. What they're going to do here is as soon as they enter, they're going to plant a seed, which is going to be much more important later on when they revisit sand. A lot of the any percent portion of this run is just setting up for the later stuff in post-game. Yeah, they're gonna plant the seed, and then they're just gonna get a few moons, and then the big difference is the inverted pyramid clip, which could actually change the lead a whole lot in this race. Neither runner getting fast action guide. Fast action guide is basically just a trick where if you mash at a certain pace, like fast enough, and then you just stop at a certain point, the text after the action guide will come up much faster. Doesn't save that much time. Neo planting his seed. Now he's gonna wait for this bird. Very nice. Let's see how Kerbis does. Nice, gets the bird. That bird can be a bit of a... It can give you some trouble if you don't plant the seed in time, because then you'll have to adjust and get to the bird before it flies away. Neo, exactly one moon ahead. Rolling into the desert here, or the desert ruins. And I'm not sure if he's going to go for Sphinx Clip or not, since he's on 1.0, but we'll see. Neo is going for Sphinx Clip, gets it second try, I believe. Now, Sphinx Clip is another 1.0 exclusive trick. It's not one of the clips that Nintendo tried to patch out, but they failed, and it's just much harder. They did end up actually patching out Sphinx Clip, so Kerbis cannot do it in 1.2. We actually don't know how much faster it is, though, because on 1.2 you can do a pipe clip in that room that Kerbis was just in, to clip into the Sphinx area. You can do that on 1.2, so we don't know exactly how much time Sphinx Clip saves in this category. And you'll see right there, Kerbis got a lot less coins in the Sphinx room than Neo did. Also, Pyramid Clip coming up. Neo struggling a bit. Alright, third try. That clip is much easier on 1.0, so hopefully we don't see Kerbis struggle much on it. Bonking. Alright, third try is for him as well. That's actually much more impressive on 1.2 because that clip is much harder. But yeah, as I said earlier, Kerbis got a lot less coins than Neo did in the Sphinx room. That's because on 1.2, there are these little 8-bit Luigi / Captain Toad hint arts that Nintendo posted a few other, like every other week they would post a new one for like a few months. And each one gives you 200 coins, so Kerbis is going to have an advantage in the coin department here. And coins are actually important in this category because you need 1,000 total by the very end for a Toadette achievement, which I will go over much later in the run. So that's at the very end. So what you saw Neo did there, he did a ground pound roll, and the reason he did that is because if he didn't do that, he would have to slide down the slope, and it would be very slow trying to get into that chest room. But because of that roll, he can just enter it much faster. Kerbis gets it as well. Struggling to get that moon. Right, last moon and day sand before they fight Harriet. Our, I guess, technically third bunny fight, if you count Madame Brood in Cascade. So Neo dove to the side there because if you stand in certain spots, Harriet will actually jump less than she usually does. I think she can jump a maximum of 6 times. But if you're standing in the right spots, sometimes you can only get her to jump like twice, which is much faster. Neo doing some first-person strats. Pretty good fight. Harriet Sand is probably the easiest fight out of all the Brutals, I'd say. Maybe some would argue Rango and Spirit are easier, but whatever. Good fight from both. Now, they are not done with Sand, not even close. They still have to go through Night Sand because they want to bring world peace to every single kingdom in the any % portion, except Wooded. They're going to go back and do Wooded in post-game. And the reason they want to do this is because once you get world peace in a kingdom, a lot more moons open up in post-game because of moon rocks that appear. Well, they're always there, but you can actually hit them and trigger more moons in post-game after world peace. And right now they're going to be doing some more setup stuff for post-game. Like talking to our good friend Jaxie here, who will make traveling Sand Kingdom much easier. Alright, Neo doing the slots. Very, very easy. Much better than what Chaos Pringle does. Alright, now, you're probably wondering, why would you do the clip? Why wouldn't you just get these story moons here? Well, doing the clip cuts out us having to go into the 8-bit part of that tower. We still have to do it in post-game, but that means we still get to cut out only one visit. So that's much faster. And also we don't have to skip a cutscene that appears right after those platforms. Those mummies can be kind of troubling. I believe their spawn points aren't RNG, but I think they appear at like random times. That can be kind of a nuisance. Right, Neo entering the ice cave here with Kerbis not far behind still. That pyramid clip definitely helped him keep his lead though. Alright, right here, you're going to see both runners go for a bullet bill strat where they're going to jump behind the bullet bill while holding Cappy out, and then knocking his visor off and then capturing him. Neo gets it. If you miss it, you can back it up with a Rainbow Twirl to keep Mario in the air, and then get another cap throw, so it's not the biggest deal, but it is pretty scary. Alright, Kerbis gets it as well. Ooh. Kerbis styling there. Skipping those coins completely, because he does not need them. Neo actually not going for the second bullet bill strat. I believe Kerbis will go for it, though. Alright, so this Knuckle Tech fight, this is actually very interesting. Ooh, Kerbis actually getting that strat. Despite how boring the boss looks, the typical Nintendo 2 hands with a face, this fight actually has a lot into it. Like, a lot that goes into it, going as fast as possible. On the first phase there, you saw Neo and Kerbis only do one dash with the hands. They also did on the second phase. That's because for some reason, if you dash too many times in this fight, you cannot dash anymore on the third phase. So if we dash as little as possible while still getting speed, we can dash as many times as we want on the third phase, aka twice. And also, after each hit, they're going to be rolling towards Knuckletech, because once those hands go off screen, he will start rushing towards you, so you don't have to wait super long. Good fight from Neo, and looking like a solid fight from Kerbis as well. Alright, so after defeating Knuckletech, they are going to leave Sand, but they're not done yet. They still have to talk to one final dude, who only appears after World Peace. And this guy is very prominent in this run. We're going to be talking to him in 5 different kingdoms, I believe. Sand, Metro, Cascade, Luncheon, Moon, and Mushroom, so 6 actually. And he only appears after World Peace in each of those kingdoms, so that's another reason why we have to get World Peace. Kerbis missing that spin pound there. It's very easy to tell when a runner misses a spin pound, because they'll just dive in some random direction, and it happens a lot. Alright, so hopefully neither of these runners forget to go to Wooded first. This is a pretty important part of the run. Alright, Neo remembers. So the reason they go to Wooded first is because in post-game, when we go through this whole painting chain, where we don't dump any of our moons until we have like 390 something, we will be getting a lot of hint arts. And when you look at a hint art, a certain moon appears in a different kingdom. And if we go to Wooded first, we can actually go to Sand right after Wooded. So we can just get that hint art now. And you'll see both runners actually jump into Deep Woods immediately. In an any percent run, or literally any other category aside from AUM or 100%, this will be very bad in the run. We would not want to go here, but this is actually a pretty fast section in the Darker Side route. Right here, you'll see Neo spawn that nut there. He won't get it until after this timer challenge, though. And coming up after this timer challenge is probably one of my favorite strats in the whole game, because it cuts out the most annoying part of Deep Woods, which is getting that T-Rex that's roaming around to bonk into something. Because with this nut, we can just get him to get angry and throw it at his face and knock his head off. Right here, Neo's gonna do a little down throw there to just let that moon have time to spawn. Hopefully Kerbis doesn't mess up on the T-Rex strat. It's one of the easiest things in the game, and it saves so much time in Deep Woods. Now they're just gonna trudge along, get one final moon, and then leave to do the rest of Wooded. I'm not sure if they'll go for Nut Clip. I believe both of them will. Nut Clip is a trick that saves a lot of time in any percent. It still saves some time in Darker Side and every other category. Kerbis struggling a lot to get that Rock Moon. That T-Rex was not cooperating at all. But yeah, the Nut Clip trick saves a lot of time in any percent and some time in every other category, but not nearly as much because it's only used to skip the gate handle opening cutscene. Whereas in any percent, it changes literally the entire route. So if they miss it here, it's not that big of a deal, but if one of the other racers gets it, then it is kind of a big deal. So I believe it's 5 seconds saved. Neo actually not going for it at all. That's kind of surprising. Now, if they do get Nut Clip, they can also opt to just phase through the wall and go get the gate handle anyway. which is a much safer method because they don't have to risk falling into deep woods again. I believe Kerbis is going for it, because he did say he was going for most of the strats. That should work. Oh, I guess not. Knuckle-up is very, very finicky. Not getting the time save he wanted, but hopefully he'll be able to save some of that time later. Because Neo does have a pretty significant lead. Oh, Neo. Almost commentators cursed him there. Yeah, if he fell down there, he did not get any checkpoints up to that point, I don't think. Kerbis did actually get that checkpoint near the Piranha Plant, so if he dies here, he will not lose that much time. But if Neo did, he would have spawned all the way back to where he did after he went out of Deep Woods. Which is a very big time loss. Neo getting Flower Road skip first try. That trick used to be one of those all or nothing tricks. Like, oh my god, if he does this, he's literally the best at this game. But ever since we found out about roll cancels, it's become a pretty staple trick in runs. Pretty much everybody does it. Neo doing some spin pounds inside the tower. Pretty fancy. Pretty good tower for Neo. Kerbis also getting FRS. I don't think either runners have really made that many big mistakes so far. Kerbis had that one mishap in the Deep Woods with the rock, but both runners on pretty good runs. And so far, really, Kerbis' only disadvantage has been the 1.0 tricks, really. And even then, he didn't lose that much time because Neo struggled a bit. Oh. Bad last spirit hit from Neo, but pretty good fight overall. Alright, now you might be thinking, they're not done with Wooded though, right? They still have to go fight Torque Drift, which is the big boss at the top. They will do that about 2 hours from now, so stay tuned. Also, I apologize for my coughing. I will try to mute my mic as much as I can when that happens. My voice has not been kind to me lately. Yeah, they'll be leaving immediately, and then coming back way later after Seaside 2. To go fight Torque Drift and then do the rest of Wooded. This is the losers semifinals. This is the second to last race of the losers bracket. After this race, whoever wins will race J-Cole 114 in the losers finals, and then whoever wins that race will race Bayleaf in the grand finals to determine the tournament. And I believe if the person who won the losers bracket beats Bayleaf, they do have to race again. To reset the bracket, obviously. Alright, so Lake Kingdom, a bit different from the 90% route. Obviously, we don't do Lake Clip because we have to get World Peace. But if you don't do Lake Clip, this is actually very similar to the 90% route, aside from getting the very first moon after World Peace because of the hint art that we have to get. And thus, the cycles of Dory and the Cheep Chiefs will be much different. Lake's a pretty boring kingdom, there's not really much to say about it. The second visit to Lake is one of my favorite parts of the run, though. Neo going for cheap jump here, probably the only notable trick in Lake. Gets it first try. Now they will be fighting Rango. Good fight from Neo. There is actually a strat there, developed by yours truly, that can get all 20 of those coins at the same time. Because after you ground pound Rango, you have to wait a bit, so you have to throw your hat out before you can hit him again. So what I like to do is do a spin throw there, and then if I do it at the right time, the spin throw will actually keep going and collect all 20 of those coins, which is very useful for this category. Kerbis actually getting the strat, paying respect to the commentator. Thank you, Kerbis. Oh, interesting. Ground pound from Neo. A weird thing about spin pounds, if you actually press B, like a frame before you land, Mario will actually just do a double jump for no reason. I believe it still works on ground pound moons, it just makes collecting them harder, because they spawn higher. Alright, now that they're done with Wooded and Lake, the fork in the road is cleared, so they will be going to Metro Kingdom, as you'll clearly see, so obviously on the map. No interruptions here. As you can see, Bowser's ship is there, so we will be going to Metro to stop him. Now, Metro Kingdom is probably one of the longest kingdoms in the run, if not the longest kingdom. Wait. Oh, I guess Bowser's interrupting us. We're going to Cloud Kingdom instead. Okay. Just a note, I did not forget about the Cloud Kingdom fight. Trust me, I swear. Yeah, this fight, pretty simple. Bowser fight, always simple in Mario games. You will see, I don't think either of them will actually be going for it, but there is a faster, very slightly faster strat in these Bowser fights. If you grab the hat and then go behind Bowser, you'll actually be able to launch him farther across the battlefield. And then he'll only jump one space compared to, as you'll see on Neo's screen, he's going to jump, like, across the entire field. Kerbis going for some safe strats. There is a way faster Cloud Boost strat. It barely saves time, but in Cloud Kingdom, it's way faster. You want as many time saves as you can get in this kingdom, really, because there's not much to do at all. Good fight from Neo. And Kerbis not having any trouble so far. Kerbis is actually going for the strat, though. It seems that Neo, despite having the better PB, will be playing it a bit safe. Because in a category this long, consistency and safe strats matters more than just going all out. You can obviously do like all the ridiculous stuff, and then if you get a run going, get an insane PB. But as we can tell by Bayleaf's constant world record dominance in this category, consistency definitely matters more in this category. Alright, so Lost Kingdom, pretty similar start to any percent, except they're going to be going up to the summit and then hitting that checkpoint. And then after the butterfly, they're going to be jumping down to the fuzzies, not spinies. Everybody's favorite Paper Mario enemy. That somehow keeps reoccurring in every single Mario game. Alright, Neo getting a good 2D section. Kerbis actually messed up a bit on Meme Tree there, because I don't think his angle was good enough to get the cap return jump. Yeah, Neo actually dies on purpose there to respawn at the summit, because that is faster than warping normally. Now he's going to enter one of many shops in this game that we will be going to. Now, despite them going into shops in post-game, they will only be buying one moon, because buying more than one moon is banned in this category. because that would make the run very boring and just coin grinding for hours on end. Missing one of the flowers there. Yeah, the goal of this category is to get 500 moons and then beat the darker side level as fast as you can. Without doing frog skip, obviously. Alright. Neo going to hit this torpedo here. Pretty good loss from both runners so far. And then they're going to death boost here again to respawn at the summit. I don't know if they're going to be going for the glide-on trick. If they are, what you're going to see them do here is after getting this moon, they're going to fly over to where the Odyssey is, and then hop out of glide-on, grab a key, and try to warp back into glide-on using the capture. Neo's not going for it. Who knows if Kerbis is. It makes sense that Neo wouldn't go for it, because he has a pretty good lead right now, and if he were to lose, if he were to mess up that trick, Kerbis would be in the lead, I think. Kerbis actually almost missing that moon, that was pretty scary. So yeah, if Kerbis does go for it, he will be, like, really far behind, even if he gets it first try. But that doesn't really matter, because Neo will have to get a replacement moon anyway. Alright, Kerbis isn't going for it. Alright, now we are actually in Metro Kingdom. But instead of going into the happy-go-lucky day Metro, like, explore wherever you want, we're stuck in nighttime until we beat Mecha Wiggler. God. So, Night Metro, pretty similar to any percent, aside from one extra moon and the checkpoint, because there's really not much to do here. I believe you can only get 5 moons here, not counting the boss. But I could be wrong on that. Neo not going for Guma Bouts. Getting that checkpoint, and hopping straight into that moon. That checkpoint will be very, very important later on for a warp in Metro 2. Kerbis doesn't do it in regular runs? Okay. Kerb not going for the triple jump strat on the building, just going for the standard long jump. Good City Hall from Neo. A lot of people underestimate City Hall because might see it as like an auto-scroller, like, oh, just go as fast as you can to make this cycle. Kerbis actually missing the... Well, he got the Guma Bounce, but he bonked. But yeah, if you fall down in City Hall, you will lose a lot of time, depending on where you fall. Good first phase from Neo on the Mecha Wiggler. That first phase can be kind of trolly because if you miss like one shot, you'll have to do like an extra one, and the hitboxes will be kind of jank if you only have one part left to hit. And jank hitboxes apply very heavily into this next phase because if they miss like a couple shots and they struggle for a bit too long, the Mecha Wiggler will go back into the wall. So they will have to wait about 20 seconds. 20 to 30 seconds before hitting him again. Neo missing the head. The head is one of the most important parts to hit, because that's the part that activates again. Oh no! Neo getting a 3 cycle. This could be big for Kerbis. Neo was not far back enough to where he could point his camera up and hit the Wiggler. Very, very unfortunate. Depending on how he handles his 3 cycle, this could be a lead change. Alright, he's good. Did he even, like, hit the last part there? I think it ricocheted onto the last one. Yeah, if Kerbis gets a 2 cycle here, this will be a very, very big time save for him. Missed a couple shots. Yeah, you saw him aiming for the middle there, because if you hit the middle of a 3-part little portion of the Wiggler, it will hit both of the parts behind and in front of it, so you want to optimally aim for the middle if you have a pair of 3 left. Alright, now we are finally in Day Metro, the part that Nintendo was hyping up for this game for so long. I'm going to be starting off with a little capture warp here. And Metro is definitely one of the more setup-heavy kingdoms in terms of doing stuff for post-game, because they're going to be planting a lot of seeds. You're going to be getting world peace, talk to the tourists, a lot of checkpoints, just a lot of stuff. And here comes everybody's favorite moon, Bench Friends. Everyone loves this one. Alright, neither player struggling to get that seed, or rather get up to where that seed was, because that taxi can be kind of a nuisance. At least in my experience, I've ended up diving the completely wrong way than I should, for no reason, because of that taxi. Alright, so the main goal of Metro to get world peace is to get these 4 musicians, and after that you have to go into the sewers, and they will be getting 1 moon in the sewers before getting the story moon. Then after that, they can do the big festival. OTEP, by the way. Dead meme, huh? Alright. So, after those 2 musicians that you would normally see in any percent, they will be going to these next 2. And for this musician, they will be planting another seed, because the pot is right behind him. So, just why not, right? Neo getting that Kobe. Pretty smooth. If you miss that seed, it can be kind of troublesome. Now, one thing to note about these musicians, it really does not matter what order you do them in, as long as you do the drummer first, because he's right next to you. I prefer to do this musician before all the other ones, because it's the hardest, because of all the different movement you have to go through. But, again, it's really just up to you how you want to do it. This is one of the scary jumps in Metro, because if they drop a long jump here, like Neo just did. Actually, no, he's using that platform. I've actually never seen that. If you miss that long jump, you either have to warp back or use the pylons to launch yourself back up to the trumpeter. Pretty good musicians from Neo. Kerbis did a more risky strat for that jump, just diving straight onto the fence and then long jumping. Slowly gaining time on Neo just by doing some faster stuff. Alright, now, I don't know if Neo will be going for Sewer Clip. It does not save that much time in this category compared to any percent. Looks like he's not. In my opinion, if you're a prominent world peace runner, and you're on 1.0 at least, I would suggest going for Sewer Clip. That might just be some bias for me because I do it, but it's worth, as long as you get it within like 3 tries. It does save a lot more time in World Beast, because in the optimal sewer clip route, we don't get this moon that both runners are getting. But in Darker Side, even if you do get the clip, we still have to get this moon, so... Alright, now after the sewer, they will be going to one of the best parts of the game. Well, in terms of music. In terms of actual gameplay, I don't know how many runners actually like this part of Metro, because 2D sections in this game, especially this one, aren't exactly the best. But we get awesome music to make up for it, so... And the main goal of the festival is really to just get to the end, beat up DK, and then get the multi-moon. But there is one extra moon that we will be getting here. Now, both runners will be trying to do it damageless, because obviously that saves time. But the cycles in the festival really depend on how fast you're able to go throughout the whole thing. Because I believe the barrel cycles are global, so they're not camera dependent. Neo hitting both of those blocks at once, which is nice. And this is that secret moon I was talking about. Oh, come on, Neo. And getting a good festival saves a lot more time than you might think. Every little mistake can add up in this area. Alright, Neo in the final section here, about to fight DK. Hardest fight in the game. He did it. How does he do it? Oh my god. The mad lad. Kerbis getting a bit of a worse barrel cycle here. A pretty solid festival from Neo. Alright, Kerbis going into the fight. Oh, he did it! Oh my god. How did they do it? How did they beat Donkey Kong so easily? One thing I really like about the festival multi-moon is that little Pauline jingle that goes into it, just making it even more unique. Just proves how much heart Nintendo really put into Metro. Neo going for Neo Dram. And he gets it. Wow, that strat saves absolutely no time. How does he do it? Alright, and now that Metro is done, they will be going to another fork in the road between Snow and Seaside Kingdom. Unlike the last one, where they chose the bottom option first, they'll be going to the top one. I actually don't know why. Might be painting patterns, but I don't know if Hint Heart really has anything to do with it. Because we go to Seaside before Metro anyway in post-game. Yeah, Snow is very different from the any percent route, obviously. The most prominent thing being the clip that both runners will be doing. I believe Neo does downstairs clips, and Kerbis goes for the moon clip, I'm pretty sure, and if he misses it, he goes for upstairs. Now, upstairs is actually a lot easier than downstairs, and the moon clip is in my opinion, the easiest form of snow clip. But if you do miss it, you have no choice but to opt for the roll cancel clip. Now, you'll probably see a change of routes here. Neo will be going to the treasure chest and ground pound moon before going into the ice Goomba room, whereas Kerbis will be doing vice versa. Because if you do upstairs clip, it's faster to just go there later. Kerbis actually taking the lead! Oh my god, he's in Goomba's first! What happened, Neo? Neo going for much safer strats in the Goomba room. I don't know if he just messed up the roll cancel or what. Now, even with my memeing, Kerbis actually did gain some time on him there. But he still does have to get the ground pound moon and the chest moon, and then do the clip, which is much scarier on 1.2, because you can take upwards of minutes on it. I personally have spent minutes on this clip in 1.2. Neo's struggling a bit. This could be an opportunity for Kerb. If he gets this moon clip, everything could change. Okay, he's actually not going for moon clip. Never mind. I'm smart. That shows how much I watch these guys. They're my favorite streamers, I swear. Ugh. Hopefully Kerbis doesn't take too long on this clip. Alright, nice. But it's not done yet, because the thing about upstairs is that you're not positioned well enough to just go right into the bound bowl room, like downstairs, so you do have to land on that little platform. Right, Kerbis not struggling with the clips too hard. Those are pretty much the two really, really big ones, so... Neo struggling a lot to talk to that bound bowl host. Skipping that tutorial because we already know how to do this. Alright, both of these players very experienced in bound bowl. I'm gonna guess 12.7 and 12.5. Wait a second. No, never mind. I'm gonna guess 52-36 for Neo and 53-41 for Kerb. I'm so into watching this race just to see if my guesses were right. Bound Bowl is actually a lot harder than these races are making it out to look, by the way. This is one of the hardest parts of at least the any percent portion to optimize. Just because you have to time your bounces like perfectly to get like an under 55-second time. Alright, Neo getting a 54, about 2 seconds off my guess. Kerbis about 18 seconds behind, I want to say. 18, 20. Now, one thing I really like about Bound Bowl is you can actually see how much time the runners lost or gained over each other because of the in-game timer. Oh, I was so close. See, Kerb actually saved like 0.3 over Neo there because he got a faster time by that much. Yeah, completing Bound Bowl gives us that multi-moon. Totally no boss here, no Rango fight or anything, no. We won't be seeing that. Well, we are not done with Snow yet, because we don't have enough moons to progress. So we have to get this bunny and a timer challenge before leaving the seaside. This bunny can be kind of a nuisance, but hopefully Kerbis gets a good one. Alright, nice. Both runners getting a good bunny. The timer challenge isn't really that worrying, because you have to wait for Cappy anyway if you mess it up. Kerbis doing a nice little spin throw there. Alright, now that snow is done, they're going to go into one of my least favorite kingdoms in the game. I don't like hate this kingdom, I just don't really like it that much, especially in the categories to get world peace because of the boss. This is probably one of the worst bosses in any video game ever. It's terrible and should not exist. That's just my opinion, though. I don't know how these runners think of Brigadier Mollusk Lancer III, Delphine of Bubbleane. But in my opinion, he's terrible. Alright, so coming up after that pipe, they're going to be planting a seed here. And one very important thing to note about this seed, if they plant it in the wrong pot, which is like the very far right one, if they plant it in there, it will take some time to make it grow. But Neo gets it in the right pot. We don't know why Nintendo decided to make that pot last longer. But if that does happen, the most optimal way to back it up is to... apparently this is what late notes means. I heard runners talking about this before, but I've actually never seen it. So I guess what they're going to do here is get the lighthouse moon, and then after that they'll be getting that moon that they got from the notes. Neo actually killing that Gushin on purpose, poor guy. Neo's a filthy murderer. Yeah, the main goal of Seaside World Peace is to hit these four little, what are they called? Buttons, yeah. I definitely know what a button is, guys, I'm smart. You have to hit these 4 buttons to uncork the fountains, and after each one gets uncorked, it'll hit Brigadier Mollusk Lancer III Delphine of Bubbleane right in the noggin, and he'll get progressively more angry. Oh my god. And then, after you hit him 4 times, he gets really pissed off. And then you have to go fight him, and as I said before, it's a bad fight. Yeah, they're gonna be taking this Gushin here, and moving around the whole island, talking to people like Captain Toad, who's a really, scaredy cat. If you place that Gushin, like, anywhere close to him, he'll get really scared, so you have to place it really far away. Now, Neo's gonna position this Gushin in just the right spot so that he doesn't die, because, as you saw with that lighthouse moon, he placed it really close to the moon, so he disappeared instantly. The farther away you put the Gushin, the more likely he is to survive. Also, yes, I have water with me. I am staying hydrated. And the reason he wants to keep that Gushin alive is because when he hits that checkpoint, the water refills instantly on the Gushin, so it just keeps him alive for longer. Now he's gonna get the Gushin again, and refill his water again, because moons do that as well. Neo just sniping that dude from above, giving him no chance to react. So rude. Oh, landing right on the moon. Neo just getting all these ground pound snipes. Kerbis gets it as well, having no mercy on, whatever that dude's name is. I'm gonna call him Seaweed. Will he land around the moon? Oh, he does it as well. Alright, now that all 4 fountains are uncorked, they're going to be going into the best boss fight in this whole game. Basically how this fight works is you want to hit him in certain spots of the island, because he basically just uses this whole thing as a racetrack to chase you around the whole island. And most of this fight is scripted. He does go in the same spots every time. But if you mess up the last hit, he'll just kind of move around until you get a chance to hit him. They will stand in that little spot that Neo just did for a bit to keep him moving, because if they start moving too early, then he'll just stay there for some reason and just keep spinning without doing anything. Now Neo is going to be trying to go for a little trick here to make him clip into the hot spring. Gets it. Will he be able to finish him off? Nice. Really good fight from Neo. And Kerbis not having troubles so far, but if you mess up this clip, it can really mess up your whole rhythm with the fight. Alright, Kerbis getting the clip. Going for the gushionless clip, actually. Oh, as soon as I saw him bounce on his head, I knew that was not gonna work. Basically, because you made him clip through the island, when you're rolling on top of that without the gushing, there is a chance that you will be able to bounce on the dude's head, which will kill all of your speed from your roll, which will make you not be able to hit him in time, and it's really, really bad. Now, for some reason, multi-moons have a really weird effect on time in this game. Like, getting a multi-moon in sand makes it nighttime, and then getting another one makes it daytime. Seaside, it gets all sunset-y. Metro becomes daytime. I don't know how time works in this game, it's weird. Okay, now that Snow and Seaside are both done, they'll be going into Luncheon Kingdom, which is, aesthetically one of my favorite kingdoms. Gameplay-wise, it's one of my least favorites. But a lot of people actually sort of like this kingdom for some reason. I guess they're not speedrunners, just because of the whole food aspect. So, if you haven't eaten yet, and you're watching right now, I would suggest go eat before this kingdom makes you hungry. Starting off with this timer challenge here, they're actually going to skip the entirety of the other side of the Odyssey. They're going to save that for post-game, which is way, way later. About 2 hours from now. Then they're going to be refighting our boy Spirit here. Now this fight is actually completely different from the wooded fight, because the stage that they're fighting on is rectangular. It's not circular like the wooded one, it's rectangular. And that changes the whole fight. It doesn't, never mind. They need 500 moons to get to Darker Side. Kerbis struggling a bit, getting up to the Spirit fight. Taking some damage on the Pepto. Alright, now after Spirit, they're going to be going into this little room here just to get 1 moon and then leave, because the moon shards are way too slow. Alright, now immediately after leaving that room, he'll be going over here to capture this Pan Bro, because apparently hammers don't exist. Right, Neo getting some... Oh, recapturing the dude. Having some trouble. So, even though Neo is on 1.0, and he can do turnip clip, the way you would optimally do it is way too risky in this category, because you'd have to make a huge jump over the gap with a turnip, which means you don't get your hat throwback. And then you'd have to do turnip clip, so we're just gonna do the RNG cheese method. Oh, Kerb missing that capture. Now, the reason they want to capture him from behind is because if you capture something from behind in this game, it instantly captures them. Because the hat still has to come back to you after capturing the object, so it just gets them instantly. Now Neo going to be entering the lava bubble sub-area. This sub-area has a lot of history, actually, in this game. Back when the game first came out, and we were still routing any %, when the whole community was just popping off, we were getting so many people in on the routing aspect. This room had a little fight with the Forks room in Luncheon, but Forks eventually won, being faster by about a second, I think, in any %. But that's okay, because this room still gets love in Darker Side. This moon can be kind of scary because of the movement after it, because you're on this little tiny island and you never know what can happen. Neo not struggling on it though. Kerbis actually pointed his camera above him with a little bird's eye view, because if a moon is off screen for some reason it will make it take forever to spawn. So he wants to put it on screen to make it appear instantly. Now, even though we just got that super free multi-moon that was just kind of sitting there, we're not done yet, because Cockatiel got just really mad at us and made that big pot in the volcano just explode. So we have to go back up there and fight him. Now, the reason you saw them warp back to the meat plateau is because, one, it's much faster than running back to the plaza, and also that's, for some reason, the only checkpoint that's still active after this. Probably because there's a giant barrier wall, that sounds familiar, around the plaza in Luncheon. Now they're going to be entering this little lava cave here, get 2 extra moons. And also in this lava cave is quite possibly the most pointless story moon in this entire game. Because even if you're not a speedrunner, you can try this yourself. If you go up to the meat plateau, which is that checkpoint they warp to, and you get in a certain spot, you can actually go to where the story moon takes them without having to grab it. So, this is a pretty pointless moon, I must say. And watch, all it does, after grabbing it, it spawns a bridge. It's just a little tiny bridge to get to this next area that you can easily get to otherwise. Neo actually capturing the piranha plant, something I didn't think I would see in this category. What most people do is they actually wait for the piranha plant to throw the fireballs at them, and then they hit them with their hat to make them go faster, and also change the trajectory, I can't talk, direction of the fireball. Oh, Koopa free running movement from Neo here. Just kidding, no fireball. Okay, now for another pretty bad boss. This is widely considered one of the hardest bosses in the game. Well, not hardest. None of the bosses are really hard in this game, but one of the worst and just poorly designed bosses in this game. Cookatiel is very interesting. The hitboxes are pretty much the same level as Mechaligor to the point where they just don't work most of the time. Especially on this last phase here. He's going to, instead of spitting a whole river of Pepto Puke, he's just gonna get a bunch of platforms going for you. Neo getting a really good last phase. But you can occasionally just somehow fall through those platforms for no reason. No one knows why. Now Neo is done with luncheon. Kerb's still not very far behind at all. Now that luncheon is done, they're going to be dumping their moons here, and then going towards the second to last kingdom in the 80% portion, Bowser's Kingdom, as you will clearly see in the world map telling us that Bowser's Kingdom is next. Bowser's Kingdom is going to be, it can be kind of a deal breaker for races, especially in this category, because there's a lot more that goes into Bowser's Kingdom than like any other kingdom, in my opinion. There's a lot of like tough boss fights, the mech fight obviously. And then there's also just a bunch of hard movement, especially in like the shards room. What? They're shaking? Why? Oh, they're in Ruined Kingdom, never mind. Bowser shot us down once again. Now we have to go fight this really, really out of place boss for a Mario game. But before that, they're gonna get this treasure chest moon. That dive hurt me, Neo. Why did you do that? Neo grabbing that heart for some extra coins. Now this dragon, an auto-scroller, no more, no less. There's really not much to say about it. Now right here you'll actually see Kerbis's 1.2 advantage with coins here. I hope he gets it. Yep, gets to dance around with Captain Toad for a bit. So, a while ago, Nintendo, while they were putting out the 8-bit Luigi hit arts, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker for Switch was coming out at the time. So they decided, let's replace all of them with Captain Toad. And the first sign of a lot of people figuring that out was when Timpani was doing an all-unique moon speedrun. And he got one without knowing about it, and then he got really scared, and it was funny. And then we found out that it was all promotional. About one phase between these two runners, Neo finishing the dragon first. Alright, Neo's still keeping his lead since the start of the race. Kerbis is gonna have to pull out a lot of the stops in the post-game. Catch up. Now that the dragon is done, we'll be going to Bowser's Kingdom for real. Once again, really hard kingdom, especially if you're like on really good pace. You could get some nerves going, and then you could just mess up at any time. Okay, now, one thing you'll see Neo do right off the bat is because he did first moon skip, nice damage, he's going to be getting all these Goombas in a stack, and then hitting a switch on the other side of this big wall, to get a replacement moon for the first moon that he skipped. And I believe it takes like 27 seconds to get, so it's around the same length. And since Kerbis got the first moon, he will not be getting that. So this is actually where Kerbis could maybe pull ahead a bit, because this race just got a lot closer. Grabbing that checkpoint there for much later. Kerbis struggling a bit with the ogre. Not cooperating. Okay, now, probably the hardest part of Bowser's for most people is the shards area. There's multiple different kinds of strats you can do for this part. There's the dive back, which is the fastest part, which is the fastest movement, but it's much harder. Then you can also just go down there and grab the shard and then hop back. And then there's also strats with Pokeos you can use. It's weird. Then if you're a Joy-Con boy, you can do some really weird down throw strats. Neo going for dive back, gets it with a long jump. Kerb going over the roof. Very interesting. And he is taking the Pokeo. Very good shards from Neo. Glory Hole. Fan favorite moon right there. Unfortunately not in any percent anymore, but what's happening? Mario. Two people are racing to get to Darker Side, which means getting 500 moons and beating that level. And it takes roughly 3.5 hours. And I believe this is actually the longest category Speed Gaming has ever had a tournament of, so hooray for long runs. So instead of going right to the bunnies, Topper and Harriet here, they're going to be getting these little statues called Jizzos, I don't know what they're called, or how to pronounce them, that is. And the reason you saw Neo uncapture that is because, for some reason, if you capture it too fast, you'll get kicked out immediately. So he did have to wait a bit. Who's all in the tournament? We're actually down to the final 4 competitors, so Neo, Kerbis, J. Cool, and Bayleaf are the last 4. Kerbis has been behind pretty much the entire race. He actually caught up by a lot at the start of Bowser's because Neo had to get a replacement moon because he did FMS. Looks like both runners are in the topper first gang. Let's go. Topper first is the way to go. It's faster by about 9 years, I believe, compared to doing a Harriet first. So, mad respect to these runners for getting the big time save. And showing all those Harriet first people who's boss. Harriet, basically just the same exact fight as in Sand, except she has 2 bombs now and you have to jump to the side instead of in front of her. Kerbis actually missing a hit. Neo, you good? Taking a screenshot of Harriet there. Wonder what he'll use that for in the future. Monka S. Darker Side world record is 3:15:04 by Bailey. Very, very, very good run. Aside from like one mistake at the end of Mushroom, which is at the very end of the run. Neo going over the top for this box moon here. The optimal strat is to do a triple jump behind that wall that he just went around, but going over the top is safer. Alright, neither runner failing to make it up here with the locked camera, which is why that moon is very risky to do fast, because after going through that pipe, the camera is stuck, so you can't really do anything about it. You have to do a bunch of blind jumps. Alright, now after this Pokio climb, they do want to keep him, because there is another Glory Hole Moon at the very end of this whole thing. Neo almost grabbing that checkpoint. That checkpoint is actually something we don't want to get, because it makes warping to this next checkpoint that they just got very hard. Alright, one thing these runners do want to watch out for, it didn't happen to Neo, luckily. If you bring a Pokio too close to that electric wire, Kerbis doesn't have to worry about it because he's going to the other side. If you bring it too close to the wire, the Pokio will actually uncapture, and you'll automatically capture the wire for no reason. And as soon as you try to capture the Pokio, you'll just go right back into the wire. Nobody knows why. Alright, now entering the mech fight here. Neo's struggling a bit with the climb. Oh boy. This fight could be a potential lead change. A lot of bad things can happen with this fight. Oh, Kerbis going for the small ant topper hit. Dang. Almost getting it too. Neo going for Harriet third. Woo! Pulling out everything on this mech. Target acquired? Target acquired. Very nice. Oh, Kerb! No, oh, Kerb! Oh my god! Oh, Kerbis! What? No, no, Kerb, no! No! Oh no. That was such a good save, and then he fell off. No. Aw, that's really sad. If he was able to save that and still hit Spear, that would have been amazing. I guess he just got too flustered by that. This is a much bigger lead for Neo than it was before now, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunate because Neo's in the lead, but, like, it's gonna be harder for Kerbis to catch up now. Now that they are done with Bowser's Kingdom, they will be going to the final kingdom of the any percent portion, Moon. And they will actually be getting some moons here, ironically. It looks like Neo has about a 36-second lead over Kerbis right now. So starting out in Moon here, they're going to be trying to catch this bunny right at the start. Neo's going to be going a bit to the left here and doing this vector. Now, vectoring, you saw it a lot in the frog room at the very start of the game, but with moon physics, it's pretty broken. You can gain a lot of distance. Now Neo's going to be getting this rock here, breaking it open. Now he walked really slow into that rock there because you're probably thinking, why couldn't he just run into it? No harm in that, it's just faster. If you run into that rock at a really fast speed, the rock will go flying, but it won't break. Because Mario's feet touched the rock and the other one didn't. Oh, that in-sync moon grab. Let's go. The Neo's actually going to be sitting there to get both of those rocket flowers there. Just to gain a bit more speed. For a longer amount of time. Now going to the most infamous skip in this entire game, Moon Cave skip. Gets it first try. Frame perfect trick, by the way. Shout out to Monkey King Hero. Oh, Kerbis! Oh no! Oh, that really sucks for Kerbis. Because he's gonna have to go all the way back to the chapel now. Or to those rocket flowers. That is very unfortunate. Ball King. I bonk on Moon, smiley face. Alright, now Neo entering the final Bowser fight. Final boss of the game. Basically the same exact fight as the Cloud Kingdom fight. Really nothing different aside from this attack that he does. With the smallest hitbox known to man. That fire looks gigantic, but as long as you, like, press the B button to jump, you'll dodge it. Moon skip is not frame perfect. I was making a joke because When that skip was first discovered, Monkey King Hero, one of the first ever, like, prominent runners of this game, he got it first try in a big community race that had like 50 people in it, and he was like, "That's a frame perfect trick. That's a frame perfect trick, guys." And yeah, it's not. It's very easy. Good Bowser fight for Neo. But they're not done yet, because they still gotta do the escape. So the escape, there's not really much to talk about here. It's a pretty straightforward section. You're just running with Bowser. Except for 2D skip, obviously, which is one of the major run-killing tricks. If you miss it, that is. Over time, it's become much easier, and not many runs have been lost to it, but it can still happen. I thought Neo wasn't gonna go for it for a second. Oh, he missed it. Okay, he still survives, though. Not going for XD skip, so his run is invalid, unfortunately. Oh, Kerb with that frame-perfect pause. I'm pretty sure that pause is actually frame-perfect. That's not a joke. Alright, so now for the Pillar's room. Neo is going to be going for early Pillar, obviously. If he gets it, he'll save around 5 seconds, I think. Doesn't get it, unfortunately. Not trying to go for the snipe. Pretty good Pillars so far, though, aside from not getting it. Kerb going for 2D skip. Gets it first try. And Neo will be finishing the any percent portion with a 128.16, I think. $17. Pretty good, sub 130. I believe Kerbis is on sub 130 pace as well. But obviously we're not done yet. We still have to do much more stuff in the post-game. These are terrible any percent times. Well, keep in mind, they got much more moons than the required amount. The any percent route in Darker Side is much different. I believe these runners have a 106 and a 105 in any percent for Neo and Kerbis respectively, so... Yeah, as you can see, they got 146 moons, talked to a Taurus like twice, planted like 4 seeds, I think. So, they did a lot of stuff. I think Kerbis got a 129.30, any percent, couldn't see. No, 129.25. Alright, so immediately going into Mushroom, actually a very short kingdom to start off the post-game, because they're just going to be planting a few seeds, running into the castle, and then getting a few more moons. Now, as you can see, Toadette is here. we're not going to be talking to her for a while. Probably not for like another hour and a half. Pretty good tiles from Neo so far. Nice. Kerbis missing the seed. And Neo getting the pops up from the tail moon. A little reference to Mario 3D Land there with the Tanuki tail. Kerbis is actually doing the other mushroom moons in the first visit. This is very different. So the moons that Kerbis is getting now, Neo will not be getting until the very, very end. This will be the last part of the run Neo does. So, it's gonna look like Kerbis is really, really far behind for, like, a while. Until, like, the very end of the run. So, a bit inaccurate with how far apart they are, unfortunately, but at least Kerbis gets to get Goomba Jump out of the way. And Neo is in the first revisit of the game, Snow Kingdom. And as you can see, it's much better than the outside was when we first got here. Pretty good notes. It does not look like he's going for Blowy Noe. Blowy Noe is basically just a trick where it was used a lot in Luigi's Balloon World when that was like really popular. You would go up to the painting platform where Cascade is, like the painting that leads you to Cascade, and that basically and you would just like do a couple wall jumps up there. I'm not sure how much time that saves over using the Blowy Joey, the wind dude. I forgot his actual name. Taifu, that's what it was. And it saves a bit of time, but it's really inconsistent. Alright, now our first major instance of RNG here. Fishing. Neo getting a first try ice fish there, though, which is very good. Still waiting for that Lakitu Big the Cat fishing crossover game, Nintendo and Sega. Come on. Now Kerbis starting Snow Kingdom himself, after that detour in Mushroom. Alright, now Neo's going to be getting this little timer challenge here. And one more moon and he will be entering Shiveria once more. Going to be going into the shop here. And after this, he'll be going into 3 different sub-area. Well, before that, he's going to talk to Peach, who, you're probably wondering why he talked to that Toad in Mushroom at the start. If he didn't talk to that Toad, Peach would not be appearing in any of these kingdoms. But since he did, we get to talk to our favorite princess in all these different outfits. This one and the Farmer Peach are personally my favorites. If you say otherwise, you're wrong, by the way. Yeah, now Neo is going to be going into these 3 sub-areas that would be in any percent, aside from the top right one and the top left one. Those are actually not in any percent. But they are drastically changed because, especially this one, because in any percent, we would have to move at like a certain pace to meet a certain cycle. But here we can just move however we want. Because there's a moon inside the inside this room that wouldn't normally be there. Do you recommend Pro Controller? If you're comfortable with using Joy-Cons, I would recommend those more because they do have an extra benefit to them, being motion control down throws. Pro Controller cannot do those. But it's really just preference. The down throws aren't, like, too critical for going faster in this game. They're basically the same, and Pro Controller is more comfortable for most people. So yes, I would. Now, this room right here is probably the most drastic change from Snow since we did the clip. Since we did not come here and fight Rango before going into the Bound Ball room, Rango is just gonna be not there. It's just gonna be his moon that's there. Just sitting there by itself. And that saves us a lot of time. This guy can be kind of dumb. Alright, Neo gets it. Kerb finishing out his shopping spree, so now he's going to be entering those sub-areas soon. Alright, this next room, the Ice Snake room, probably the easiest one out of all the sub-areas in my opinion. You can get your jumps eaten by the snakes because there's little platforms on them that act like slopes, so that can happen. But other than that, it's pretty simple. Now, if we weren't to do the clip, there would be 5 moon shards here that they would have to get, but because we did, they're just gone, and the moon is there. Kerb getting bad RNG with that Spiny there. Ooh. Bonking. Yikes. He did end up killing it, though, with that bonk. Now, after finishing all those sub-areas, they're going to be hopping right back into the Bound Bowl area, but they will not be doing Bound Bowl again. Instead, they're just going to be talking to this guy, getting one more moon, and then leave. Oh, Neo missing his hat throw there. Come on. Alright. Now, he is going to be warping to the Odyssey, but that's just to get another moon. And then take the Taifu to, Cascade. And this is going to start the true, beginning of the painting chain, as we like to call it. Since they are not dumping their moons at all, they're going to be going through these warp paintings, and this actually keeps the amount of moons you have stored. So, they're gonna be racking up a lot of moons, saving up for Luncheon, like, and at the very end of Luncheon 2, they're going to be dumping all their moons at once, and it's gonna take a while. Oh, Kerb. Accidentally diving there. Alright, so Cascade. One of the harder post-game kingdoms, in my opinion. the reason you saw Neo hit that rock there is because he will need that for later on. He's actually getting the timer challenge now. I have never seen this routing before. This is interesting. This is all new to me. I don't know if this is preferenced or if it's actually faster or what. Alright, so after hitting that moon rock, a lot more moons will be spawning here, obviously, as they always do. It's preference? Okay. Now, one thing Neo's gonna do here is he's gonna capture a giant chain chomp, for no reason other than to capture it. Never mind. If he was to capture that, there would be no reason other than to capture it because, Toadette has a achievement moon, where you need to capture 35 different things, and we don't do that in the course of the route, so we just need to capture, a bunch of stuff out of our way. Oh, Neo bonks and dies! Oh no! No, these runners are not on record pace. Really sloppy sub-area from Neo right now. Kerb starting off Cascade himself. This could be a potential, catching up moment for Kerbis. Neo dies again! Oh my god. Yeah, I believe Neo did get the Piranha Plant in Luncheon, but I didn't think he wouldn't get the big chomp. Alright, let's see if Neo can improvise here without having to get that moon again. So, if we're taking into account Kerbis' early mushroom stuff, he might actually be in the lead. I don't know though, maybe not. I think Neo is at 186 moons right now. Because he finished any percent with 146. Yeah, I think he's at 187 now. I don't know about Kerbis. I think they have the same amount of moons at the end of any percent, so he's at 146, or 186. Kerbis just captured that big chomp there, because he didn't get the Piranha Plant. No, the biggest painting chain is not snow. I believe sand is the biggest, like the longest segment in the whole run, sand 2. And we talking to Peach again. Kerbis saving a lot of time on Neo there with that sub area. Not dying. Now, this upcoming moon here from Neo, very stupid. For a long time, we actually thought this was RNG, but Schultzar, shoutouts to him, found a nice little setup there by hugging the fossils, and that'll actually push the chain chomp back a little bit, making it easier to hit that rock. Yeah, this race is actually a lot closer than it seems, because Kerbis did get a bunch of mushroom moons early, whereas Neo still hasn't gotten those yet. He's gonna get them at the very end. Alright, and since Neo got the timer challenge in floating islands moons early, he's going to just hop off after that bridge moon. I think Kerbis will as well. I'm pretty sure he got those early. Alright, now one thing Neo has to look out for here. Since he did first moon skip, the first moon will still be here. But if he touches it, the game will soft lock. Nobody knows why. But he does avoid it, because that T-Rex can survive in water. Yet Yoshi can't. Taking that wire there is just a little bit faster. Talking to our taxi friend once again. And after this, he will be going to luncheon, so we won't see him for a long time. This race started from the very beginning of the game. They have to beat the final boss so that they can open up a bunch of moon rocks and have access to Mushroom Kingdom. And also because you cannot get 500 moons without doing post-game stuff. There is a category called All Moons NPG, aka no post-game. I believe you get 464 moons in that. Alright, and since Neo did first moon skip, he doesn't have to get that chest moon, since he got it at the very beginning of the run. Kerbis will have to get that though, so that's a bit of a time loss. But I do believe, aside from Mushroom, after Cascade, their routes will be the same now. Unless Neo has something up his sleeve. Alright, now they're back in Bowser's Kingdom after about 30 minutes of being gone. Bowser's 2 is definitely one of the more easy post-game kingdoms in my opinion. Not really much that can go wrong here. And if you do end up dying, you're usually right next to a checkpoint, so you don't lose time at all. Here you can see Kerbis getting his chest moon. Alright, now Neo's gonna be going for a kind of scary jump here. Gonna triple jump off this corner and completely skip a big slingshot trip past this poison swamp. Gets a first try. Okay, Neo gets that bunny. That's very good. That bunny, if you miss it, you'll lose a lot of time, most likely. Oh, first try on the arena ground pound. Kerbis spin pounding into the water, dang. So this Jizzo sub room here, God. Okay. This sub area here, it looks very, very short, and it actually is. The intended way to do this room takes like 5 minutes. It's so long. There's no other way to put it. So just be glad we found out about that jump. Grabbing that moon in the wire, and then we're just gonna go right back. Now this is a lot of people's favorite moon in this entire game. Nice. Now the reason Neo turns his camera here is because after this long jump he's gonna have to capture a Pokeo. And if he doesn't position the camera like he just did, the Pokeo will take much longer to spawn. Almost done with Bowser's Kingdom. Just one more, well actually 2 more warps. Me visiting Peach here in her little kimono. And after this we're going to go shopping again. And interesting thing about this shop, there are still just normal people running this shop for some reason. Like, they do realize that Bowser is defeated, right? They can go home. Unless this is like the only way they make money. Because they couldn't make any in Metro. Neo did FMS in this race, and he got the Goomba Stack Moon in Bowser's as a replacement. Neo killing that little mini-boss there. Alright, now after Bowser's, Neo's going to be going to Seaside. Post-game Seaside, for the most part, isn't really stressful. There's a little 2D maze that they're going to be entering in, like, the middle of it. That can be kind of difficult. Neither runners did TNT, so they're gonna get the Metro Shop instead, I believe. At the very end of Seaside is mainly just swimming underwater, so it's very chill. Definitely a breath of fresh air from all the stressful moon collecting. Alright, so this is actually not really a terribly scary bird cycle to make. As long as you just don't play like an idiot. It's pretty free. Neo gets it. And And the reason Neo put that Gushin so far away from the shop guy is because if he didn't, then the shop guy would get really scared, and he would have to stay in his shell for like 15 seconds. And now comes the big swimming part of Seaside. Very relaxing. Oh, Kerbis getting a ledge grab there. Almost in sync grab. Now one cool strat that I like in Seaside is Neo's gonna hold his cap there on that rock to spawn the moon. And after that, he's gonna swim behind that Cheep Cheep and just let go, and he captures it instantly. Nice little any percent moon there. Oh, Kerbis getting stuck on Dory. Alright, Scree Squad. Any Kerbis subs in here, get your Kerbis Screes going. So we got our boy here. Alright, this is the 2D maze I was talking about. This is probably the only, like, sort of difficult part of, Seaside. Got a Discord notification and got thrown off. Neo actually getting that Koopa bounce into the pipe. I've actually never gotten that before. Pretty good notes from Neo in the 2D maze. Can Bayleaf really be defeated? Who knows, honestly. There are a lot of runners capable of doing it. It just is a matter of time. Bayleaf's really consistent, so... and his consistency is just building even further. And the more strats he inputs into his runs, and the more consistent he gets at those, then it gets harder and harder, but... he can be defeated. There are a lot of runners capable. So, the reason you saw Neo go super low after the 2D maze is because there's a bunny on the ground of the glass palace above him. And if he's a bit too high, the bunny will start running away from him, even if it's off screen. So he just wants to make sure it's not doing that. Neo messing up the camera manip there a bit. He tried to make it so that the eel didn't appear at all in its little den there, because eels are scary and we don't want to see them. Monka S. Neo almost done with Seaside. Oh, Kerbis taking damage there. Neo actually landing on the bunny with the Gushin. Don't know if that's faster, but maybe it is. Now that Neo's done with Seaside, he's going to be going to Wooded once again. And as I mentioned in Wooded 1, we're not getting World Peace there because we're going to get it now. Because right after coming out of this painting, Neo's going to be thrown basically right next to the boss. And he can just go fight it right now. Kerbis still not far behind. Just doing his own little swimming thing in Seaside. Alright, Neo about to play some Call of Duty. 1, 2, 3. Taking damage. 4. Oh, perfect shots. Sort of. Now, this is probably one of the biggest breaths of fresh air. Like, the whole portion of Seaside plus Torque Drift is just so nice because you just did this super fast moon collecting spree, and then you just get to fight this dude, and it's really slow-paced and nice. Neo really trying to get fast Nut Boy. Kerbis getting really good shots as well. Neo on his last phase of Torque Drift here. This song's a jam, by the way. Nice. And now that Neo has finished up Torque Drift, he will be going to the rest of Wooded, which is probably one of the hardest parts of the entire run. The whole chain of Wooded, Sand, and Metro that's coming up is probably the hardest part of the run, in my opinion. No, we don't go to Dark Side in this run, Because that is slow and bad. Ninja Warrior, the final building. That's a nice way to put it. Neo rolling through that tree there for some extra purples. Doesn't need them at all, but... Alright, and now starts the real Wooded 2. Gonna be getting a lot of moons. Just as Kerbis finishes up Torque Drift. Starting off is a pretty scary jump. It's not really hard per se, but if you miss it, you lose some time. Nice shots from Neo there. Now coming up is another pretty scary jump. He's gonna take 2 rocket flowers and jump over to Captain Toad. He's on an island way out in the distance. If he misses this, he will spawn back at the checkpoint he just warped to, because he didn't get the summit path, but... Looking good. Okay, nice. Now, the reason he did that is because, 1, it's a Captain Toad moon for the achievement, and also it brings him right to the observation deck. So he doesn't have to get the nut and do the whole timer challenge thing to get up there. Getting some extra coins there. Kerbis going for his Goomba jump, as I like to call it, because this nut here is called looking down on the Goombas. In English. Speaking of Goombas... Kerbis going for his Captain Toad jump. Hopefully gets it first try. Oh, that was a really good angle. He didn't even have to cap bounce to make that, I don't think. Very interesting camera from Neo there. Dang. Alright, Pipes room, really infamous room. It's basically been in every single route since the beginning of time with this game. The only time it wasn't in at least the any percent route was when we first found Nutclip, and it was only not in the route for like a few weeks. Maybe even less. It's always been there, basically. Alright, now this is one of the scariest parts of Wooded, the bird cycle, because as soon as he warps to that checkpoint, a bird will start flying around Wooded and is on a big cycle, and he has to get all these moons as fast as he can before the bird arrives on the other side of the red maze, which is where he's going. Pretty good Wooded from both runners so far, though. Kerb struggling a bit. Yes, I did say nut clip, which is a trick that's used in pretty much every category, but its main use is any percent. Alright, pretty good moons there from Neo. Easy bird cycle. Kerb struggling a bit in the pipes, unfortunately. Very easy to mess this place up. Alright, is he gonna go for fast bird? Let's see. No, he's not. There's a strat there where you can long jump out into the distance. It only works when the bird's like really far away. But you can like long jump out to the bird and do basically what they did for that bullet bill strat back in Sand at the very beginning, about 2 hours ago. Where you dive past the bird and then dive back to get your hat back. And you'll land on the moon. Yeah, Neo is winning. From the looks of it, he's winning by quite a bit, but keep in mind, Kerbis did get a bunch of moons and mushroom at the very start that Neo hasn't gotten yet, so that could change the routes. Well, it will change the routes. So he could catch up by quite a bit. I thought Neo clipped there. I would have been sick. Neo taking a video. Probably got the BTT or something. Neo's pretty much done with Wooded now. He just needs to get a few more moons. Then he'll be off to Sand. Which is one of my favorite sections in the whole run. Neo doing that nice ledge grab to get up there without his hat. Alright, now for Sand. Sand is the longest segment in the whole run, I'm pretty sure. We get a lot of moons here. Starting off with this dune here. And immediately after this, they're gonna hit the moon rock. Nice little spin throw. Okay, so something you're about to see Neo do here is there's a little dog town, and he's going to trigger that dog now. He wants to keep the camera on the dog as long as he can, so that the dog hunts down the moon. Because if that dog is off screen, he won't move at all. And it's really annoying. Neo actually choosing the Ruined Dragon song for that moon. Instead of the optimal choice, which is track 61, which is the final boss theme. Sand can actually be kind of scary because you have to do a majority of it while a scary boss song is playing. You know, roll right in? Aw. I thought he was gonna roll right into that alcove. Gonna sneak behind these employees right here. Didn't even buy their moon, he's just gonna steal it. Kerbis struggling a bit with the dune. Alright. Now, as soon as Neo enters, or leaves employees only, a bird is going to be on a cycle, surprise, surprise. But I believe this bird is actually camera dependent, as shown in a video by Neo a while ago. Also, this platform depends on your camera, so he wanted to wait until he got the Goomba before switching his camera. And he's gonna get his girl, and then jump right out. Getting that bullet bill breakthrough moon. Kerbis choosing track 59. Don't know which one that is. I think it's the Mecha Brutal theme. Now this moon that Neo's getting here, this actually was thought to be like way too slow for this category, but there's a little trick he's gonna do here, where he just triple jumps up to the Jaxi ruins, lands on this little alcove, and then just jumps up like that. Hits that chest for a free 50 coins. A really good bird cycle from Neo. And now he hit that bird now because he's going to get both of these moons while the timer challenge is still going. Kerbis struggling a bit trying to get this wire. Hopefully that doesn't mess up his cycle too bad. Because 2 audio tracks at once would not be very comfortable. Trust me. Hopefully Kerbis can make this. Okay. Neo gonna take the Jaxi to his family right here for a quick little reunion. Oh, Kerbis, no! He didn't make it. Oh, that sucks. He actually didn't make it. I've never seen somebody not make that. Well, he definitely has to get a replacement moon somewhere now. And he already has to get the Metro Shop, so... This is why you get TNT, folks. Barely gets that timer challenge, oh my god. This is not a good stand right now for Kerbis. Not treating him very well. Now, Neo entering the 2D tower, if he entered this in the first visit, he would probably lose a lot of time because that would just be adding an extra visit for no reason, which is why we did in the clip, so that we would only have to go in here once. Unfortunately not on the good bullet bill cycle, so you couldn't make that. Take this wire up to the top of the pyramid and talk to Peach. Interesting ground pound. Kerbis getting a good fish. I actually didn't see what Neo's fish bite was. Nice lurker. That lurker is so much easier than the one in snow, because you're not on ice physics. Now we're gonna take Jaxie one more time. Now bring him back to his home. Now we're gonna actually ride him again and fall off the pyramid. There they go. Hit that cactus right there. If you accidentally hit that cactus and it falls off the ledge, you'll have to reset the entire area. So make sure you don't do that. Neo entering the Bullet Bill Maze sub-area. Going up the walls here is actually intended by Nintendo, because you saw Neo pass by a stack of coins there, so they knew. Did Neo clip? Oh, he didn't. What he was trying to do there was hold his cap out so that he could clip into the timer challenge area, which would skip him having to roll under. Now he's just gonna wait for Cappy, because he wasted time already. Alright, is Neo gonna kill the animals? He did. Let's go. I mean, he didn't kill the sheep, but he still hit it, so. Kill the animals. This sub-area right here isn't too difficult. Now we get to see our good friend Glydon once again, for the very end of Sand. As Kerbis enters the Bullet Bill sub-area. Sand is such a big kingdom that they were able to fit 2 hint art moons in there. One from Wooded, one from Bowser's. Kerbis actually not going for the timer challenge clip. Oh no, Neo died. What is he gonna do? Just kidding. That was an intended death. Now that Sand is finally done, they will be going to Metro. One of my least favorite parts of the run, for sure. So many things can go wrong in Metro. I was so scared that Neo was gonna accidentally dump his moons there. That would not have been good. Taking these binoculars here. I believe this is the longest moon in the entire game. Yeah. Takes that long. They don't dump moons now because that would take too long. We want to save the moon dump as long as we can so that we don't have to do an extra one. So after Metro, we're gonna do Lake, and then Luncheon, and then we're gonna dump our moons. Neo actually not doing Scooter Clip. Kinda surprising. Seems like Kerbis is 209 behind Neo, leaving Sand. But who knows what can happen in Metro. Neo going for the fire escape strats. Let's go. Oh, I'm in some trouble. Nice slots. 2 out of 3 slots done. Now Kerbis gets to experience the best moon in the entire game. Getting another seed that he just planted. Well, just planted about hour and a half ago. Okay. So after Peach here, you're gonna get this whole crate, and then enter this sub-area that is way bigger on the inside than the outside. Alright, Neo actually remembered to talk to the Hat and Seek guy. Didn't enter that pipe. That's good. No, I don't think Neo got the Shop Moon. I'm not sure if he has a different replacement, or if he's gonna get at the end, or what. That dog was not being very kind to Neo. Gets the bird, though. Alright, Kerbis got that bunny just in time. If he missed that, that bunny would have been hopping through. It would have been very bad. Water. Alright, so Neo dropped off that scooter there, because he's gonna go back down for it, like, right now. Pretty good position. But messing up the free parking, making this guy not very happy. Customer service. Kerbis in the park right now. Hopefully the bird treats him well here. Oh, he missed it. Speaking of terrible birds, here's another one that Neo's about to get. Nice. One last sub-area and then he's out of Metro. This is without Frog Skip. Pretty good Metro from Neo. Yeah, Kerbis's camera wasn't in a good position to grab that moon. Starting off in Lake here, we have our final fishing moon. Not treating Neo very well. This is probably the hardest fish in the run. Gets it pretty quick, though. Okay, and now after hitting the moon rock, just getting a few more moons, and he's going to enter probably one of the hardest, if not the hardest sub-area in the game. The poison waves. Come on. Alright, Kerb gets the bird. Very nice. Missing that bird is very, very costly. You can get as many moons as you want before putting them in the Odyssey, because you can buy infinite moons in post-game. So you can make that dump go as long as you want. Great, Neo in the poison waves. Oh, Kerbis. Neo taking it a bit safe. Kerbis starting Lake now, as Neo is actually almost done. Well, I wouldn't say that. Still got a little bit of Lake left, but it is a very fast kingdom, very small. Kerbis doing a nice little vault there to get to the courtyard. Nice fishing from Kerbis. Pretty good fish all around for both of these guys. Kerbis did his spin throw a bit too early, so he couldn't get those notes. You know, talking to Toad here. Ah! Actually, just noticed, there's Luigi. There's your difference between 1.0 and 1.2. Kerbis struggling a bit. Pretty solid movement from both so far. Kerbis in the poison waves. Hopefully he doesn't die. That definitely would not have made it, so good on him for taking it safe. Alright, Neo is now done with Lake after that sub-area. Now he's going to enter Luncheon, the final kingdom before the moon dump. Stream is online for me. This movement right here from Neo is pretty much any percent. Get that pillar and then just roll on to this area. But instead of going straight to Forks, he's gonna get the Moon Rock and then go into Forks. Forks is very PogChamp. Pretty good from Neo. Kerbis struggling a bit to get on that flower. Once you do this run enough, remembering all the strats really doesn't take that long. It's not that hard. Oh, Kerbis bonking on his way to the Fuzzy's room. Oh, Kerbis died. No. Not having a good lake today. He's going all out. He's going for all the strats. Oh, I really hope I don't lose my voice. Very solid jump there from Neo. And now he warps to the Odyssey, and his moon dump is ready. I'm gonna get water while this happens. Okay, commentator is back and hydrated. Neo with 396 moons. And now, not going to dark side. I've done that before and it was terrible. Now after the dump, they're going to be going to all the smaller kingdoms, like Cap, Lost, and Moon. Cap is probably one of the hardest kingdoms in the entire run. This whole section after the Moon dump is just really, really hard. Neo actually getting his little backup Moon here for not doing the glide on warp trick. And he's not even going for the moon rock jump, surprisingly. Capturing that Goomba from behind. It instantly captures. Now right here, he's gonna use this little sign here to reset the Goomba's maximum height so that he can get up onto this ledge. Now Kerbis coming up on the jump that Neo did in Luncheon. Skipping the checkpoint, playing it risky. Neo gets the fast strats for that timer challenge. Very nice from Kerbis. And Kerbis is actually going to have a longer moon dump, I believe, because of his moons and mushroom that he got. Also, 12.7 for Neo. Get it? Gonna have to slide. Kerbis' moon dump is finished. 399. And that checkpoint that they got at the very beginning of the run, this is when they use it. Neo going for a bit of a scary jump here. He's gonna land around the moon. Yeah, nice. Nice down throw from Neo. Yeah, Kerbis actually, he got the moon rock jump without the Paragoomba. That's really hard jump. I am honestly not paying that much attention because I'm focusing on keeping my voice alive. Nice Neo spinning that hat. Jeez, Kerbis, stop scaring me. And Neo's gonna snipe this bird here real quick. 12.2 for Kerbis. Neo almost done with Cap, as Kerbis is about to finish up the slide, and warp to Captain Toad. Because Mario 64 slide joke, cool boy. Alright, get your Monka S's ready, because Neo's about to enter Scariest Kingdom in the run. Oh, Kerb almost missed that moon, jeez. The reason why I lost is so terrifying in the very end of this run is because there's poison everywhere, and if you die at once, you get sent all the way back to the summit, and it's very, very punishing. Especially in this Moon Shards portion that they're gonna do. It's a very short segment, but a lot of mistakes can be made. Kerbis barely spinning that hat. Oh, Neo. Oh my god. Neo barely making that. Jeez. Things like that are why I lost his Monka S. Jeez, that... Why would you roll cancel there, Neo? Jeez. I thought he was about to go flying right into the poison. Dang, he's going for Wigor less notes. Kerbis finishing up Cap. About to head into Lost himself. Yo, what are you doing, buddy? Just kind of stood there for a bit. I believe not using the Wigor is faster, yeah. Not doing the fast strat for that. I was gonna get this moon here while the timer challenge is still going because it's free. Neo finishing up Lost just as Kerbis is starting it. Well, starting it. This is the real start of Lost. And now we get to go to the hardest segment in the entire game. This is extremely difficult. Moon 2. Oh my god. This is a very Monk-esque segment right here. Definitely. I'm not joking at all, I swear. Even my dog doesn't like it. Oh, Neo, jeez, got launched. Yeah, that's Moon 2. Told you it was difficult. Kerbis missing a note. Kerbis! Oh my god. I don't want to make my voice high pitched because I'll lose it. Alright, so, I finally get to actually explain something. The reason why they left luncheon so early and did the moon dump is because, well, and why they're coming back here now, is because every time you get a certain number of moons, a piece of text comes up that says, new costumes have been added to the shop, or whatever. And by, doing 3 visits to luncheon, they are skipping 1 piece of text that says that, so it saves 2.5 seconds. Neo getting that fast strat, that's nice. You better get track 4, I swear. If he picks track 46, we're doomed. Nice fire, bro. Aside from notes, Kerbis had a pretty nice Lost. Neo going for that Goomba strat. Nice. Corn. Nice down throw from Kerbis. Really nice fork there from Neo. Flicking right to the spot, but bonks there, unfortunately. Neo's in the lead by quite a bit. Alright, let's see what track he picks. Oh, come on, man. Kerbis is actually doing the 2D moon here, probably as a backup. Or missing the bullet bill moon in sand. Lee's notes work? Yeah. All three, notes? Slots. All three slots done from Neo. Yeah, Kerbis got a lot of moons and mushroom earth, so he's gonna save a lot of time on me. Oh! Kerbis, stop! Scaring me. Oh yeah, shoutouts to Farmer Peach. Best Peach. Oh, in sync cannon shots. Nice. Kerbis also going for the Goomba Dram. Let's go. Neo almost done with luncheon. And he will move on to Mushroom, the very last game. How fitting. No, my voice is just giving out. Been talking a lot. I have water ready for Toadette. to just chug. Yeah, commentating a race like this is not easy. You have to constantly be thinking about things to talk about. Especially since this is the first time we've done this in a tournament setting. So not many people know about it. Unless they, like, watch Bayleaf. Neo getting that final shop moon with 300 coins to spare. Kerbis having some trouble getting that turn up. Can't throw it in the pot. What's going on? Farmer Peach. Neo getting those seeds he planted about an hour and a half ago. Now this is where the routes will finally meet up, because Neo is getting those mushroom moons that Kerbis got in his first visit to Mushroom. Alright, Neo going for Goomba Jump. The ultimate run killer. Just kidding, it's free. Kerbis having some trouble with those cracks, but no big deal. Now for the best part of the whole run. All those moons we got up until now concludes at this. I'd probably say 64, champ of the couch. But you never know. Odyssey could find some new tech in like a year. Who knows, maybe we'll get Odyssey 2 at E3 2019. And then it releases in 2020. Wink, Nintendo. Please, please. I don't think Neo's on PB pace. Hold on. Darker side. Yeah, Neo has a 3:18:12. And he finished Mushroom at 3:13:01, so. Kerbis spawning like 2 moons at once. Nice. I believe you have 64 moons after Toadette. Because you leave Moon 2 at, well, Neo left Moon 2 at 436 moons. So yeah, he should have 64 by the end of this. Kerbis doing tiles now, instead of before like Neo did. Oh, Kerbis could have talked to Toadette and done all our moons right then, and finished tiles after. That would have been sick. 500 IQ. I guess one thing I can explain during, every time they talk to her, they're gonna go into first person, because when you talk to an NPC in first person, the camera pans out faster. And it saves around 12 seconds in this category. Neo is done. Now with all 500 moons, Neo gets to head on to the Darker Side dungeon. He will not be doing Frog Skip, even though he's on 1.0. Yay. Let's see how this goes. Meanwhile, Kerbis still talking to Toadette. The Darker Side. Not the hardest level in Mario history. That would probably go to Perfect Run or Champion's Road from their respective games. But this is basically Nintendo's poor attempt at making a hardest level like those two. But because this game is so... I'm not gonna say a word easy. This level's pretty much a joke. Unless you do it casually and you try to beat the Pokio section. In which case the game just says F you. Yeah, most of the dungeon is doing stuff the intended way until, like, the very end of it. When we take Glidon and save, like, 2 minutes. Neo not doing uprootless movement here. There is a faster way of doing this without the uproot, but it's more difficult and is more punishing. But with the uproot, you can do this. Neo almost fell. Wow. Kerbis finally done with Toadette dumping his moons for the last time. $500. Now we get this little auto-scroller here before doing a nice little scarecrow thing. It's almost done. Come on, keep your voice alive for like 10 more minutes. Neo trying to get this down throw. Grabs coin rings instead. Struggling a lot. I don't think Kerbis is on PP pace. Not sure. He is a 321, like a high 321, I think. Kerbis Scree! Scree Squad, report. I wish I had a Kerbis sub. Neo keeps gliding alive. Save the animals, I guess. I don't agree with it, but... Will he go for no use skip? He went for no use skip, wow. Oh, nice block. Now, climbing the building with a sub 320. Interesting climb. Actually, never seen him skip that platform. And like a 319.26. 319.26 for Neo. Split late. Congratulations to Neo for winning against Kerbis54. I was told before the race he was going to take a pee break after Torque Drift, but I guess I was lied to. I'm gonna wait until Kerbis finishes before asking if they want interviews. GG to both. This is a good race for the most part. Kerbis fell really far behind for a bit, but stayed close despite their 2-minute difference in PBs. Now we get to see one final scree from the Scree Man himself. And he keeps him alive. Wow. Gets you, Skip. Saving time on Neo. I think that's a 322, like a really low 320. 322.03. GG, Kerbis. Alright, now I will ask them for an interview. See. Oh, he's already here.
Hello.
Hi. Is Neo gonna do an interview? Probably not.
I'm not sure, but I just want to say that that run was 17 seconds off of my PB that I set yesterday. So
Dang.
that was pretty good for me. Unfortunately, Neo played pretty damn well himself, so not much I could have done.
Yeah,
Here.
so much for that P-break after torque drift.
Yeah, the Torture P-break might have made it close, not gonna lie.
I mean, everybody was wondering why you were so far behind, and I had to keep telling them, guys, you got extra moons and mushroom.
Yeah, I think I'm like the only person who does that mushroom route, but it all works out to be basically the same. You do it my way or the other way. But yeah,
You actually didn't struggle on either of the clips, which is good. That always makes races really bad.
That's always the part I'm nervous about. But if I can do the clips well, then I know if I get beaten, then I got outplayed. So it's all good.
Yeah, I think there was like one big mistake you made in the early game, but I can't remember what it was.
I fell off Robo Brood.
Yeah,
I almost saved it too. Like,
yeah, that save was very interesting.
That thing happened, like I was just standing, I wasn't even moving on top when I saved it, and it just like took a wrong step and it fucked me off somehow. Like that happens sometimes, I don't really know why. But yeah, I almost saved it. I was like,
oh yeah,
a roller coaster.
You also died in Moon.
Yeah. Okay, that is another thing. I don't know what happened because I got the 2 flowers and they flung me off the side, and I tried to immediately cap throw to get myself back on that platform, but I didn't have my cap, and I don't know why.
Oh.
You would think like flowers came back to me, that means my hat came back to me, but somehow I didn't have my cap, so I actually want to look at that and see what happened. I don't know if I like accidentally threw it the other direction or something, but I was unable to move basically for a while. Yeah, I think that only lost me like 20 seconds or something. It wasn't as bad as I thought.
Very interesting race, to say the least. Yeah, GG on 4th place in the tournament. Played well for most of your races. Did you do every single race, or did you have forfeits?
There were some forfeits, but I'm happy that I at least went out on a high note, because my race against J. Cool, which was the last one that I actually did, was not very good for me.
Yeah, speaking of J. Cool, losers finals, Neo versus J. Cool, that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, that'll be a good one.
And then the winner of that race is the king himself in Grands.
I know Neo wants his run back versus Bayleaf, so expect him to be motivated for the J. Cool race.
Yeah, thanks for racing, Kerbis.
Thanks for commentating. It's not easy to do that solo for 3 hours.
Yeah, especially when your voice is literally dying.
Yeah, so thank you for making the match a little more exciting than just a silent duel.
Neo Dram, Neo Dram. Yeah, follow Kerbis, follow Neo. He's in chat right now, so you can just click his name and follow him. Follow me as well. I'm mainly an any percent runner at the moment, but Kerbis really wants me to get 319, so I'll try that at some point. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Don't know when the loser finals will be. Maybe sometime next week, but see ya, guys.